All right, guys, now that you have your web hosting accounts and domain set up, we will go ahead and do a little bit of an overview and go over some of the cPanel features. One of the most important things for me when developing this class is getting you guys to work with industry standard platforms and software. cPanel is at the top of that list. It is one of the most popular web server management platforms, controlling almost 70% of the market. Now, just recently, cPanel made some changes to their pricing structure, forcing some of the big major players to start developing their own server management solutions because they want to save on licensing cost. Regardless of this, you will notice that even other platforms look and work very similar to cPanel, as it was most likely based off cPanel or highly influenced by it. Now, there's a couple ways we could log into cPanel. You can log in directly through your Bridge account or directly through your domain name. So if we take a look here, I'm at the Bridge website. So we're just gonna go ahead and log in if you haven't logged in already. And I saved my password. I'm gonna log in. Once you log into your Bridge, you will have your active products or services here. So I'm gonna hit my Fluence web hosting account. Once I click that, you'll notice it'll take you to kind of like the product details, and it'll give you some quick cPanel shortcuts. Sometimes if you just want to go straight to your file manager or maybe the email accounts, you could do it through your Bridge account. But I always like to log in right to the main thing, and you could do that by logging in through cPanel by clicking the actions over here on the left hand side. So I'm just going to hit click log in to cPanel, and it should log me in directly to my cPanel. Logging into Bridge is pretty useful because sometimes the cPanel password is pretty long or you just don't want to remember it. And we're logged into cPanel. I'm going to go ahead and log out now. So another way, which is what I do most of the time, is by just going directly through the domain name. So for example, my domain name is fluenceweb.com. All you do after your domain name is you just type in /cPanel. Hit enter, and it should take you to the login screen. Now your username, you're going to find your username and password in your new account information email, but your username will always be 8 characters, so it's going to be the first 8 characters of your domain name. So Fluence Web, Fluence W. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then your cPanel password. And again, you will find that in your new account information email. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Perfect. And those are 2 ways of logging in to your cPanel and manage your web server. Now let's quickly go over some of the major sections of cPanel, and you will get a better idea of how easy they make it to manage a web server. We're just going to go over the sections really quick. Little by little, we're going to have assignments on specific sections where you'll be doing things. So we'll cover that more in detail a little bit later. The first section we'll have here, you'll see as we have our files section. And here we have our file manager. This is probably one of the most, the areas that you'll mostly use most of the time, because it'll manage all the files on in your web server. And because we'll be doing different projects and different websites, we're going to really work in here a lot, make sure everything's in the right folder, in the right order. So if I ever say, hey, go to your file manager, move folders around, it's going to be around here. So files, file manager. We're also going to be creating FTP accounts, and we're going to find those here. And here we manage our FTP accounts. Besides that, those are pretty much files manager and FTP accounts are one of the things that we're going to be working most in this section. The next one, obviously, we'll have our databases, and we have access to PHPMyAdmin, and we have access to MySQL databases where we could create our own databases, and we'll be having a project on databases as well. Next, we have our domain section. So here, it's where we'll be managing our domains, our DNS zone editor. We could add add-on domains and aliases. Next, we have our email section. This is where we could create new email accounts, folders, email routing for our domain name. And we'll be having a few projects on that as well. And we have our metrics section. Most of the time, the only thing I go in through here is just the stats over here. And it just gives you website statistics information on your website, visitors and traffic. So if you go, you could pick a month. Let's say this website's brand new. There's not going to be much in here, you know, and it gives you your unique visitors, your numbers of visits, pages, hits, bandwidth. And it just breaks it down by month, by year, by day of the week, by hours, by country, and by host. It gives you a lot of really interesting information if you're really into statistics. So metrics, the rest of the section, security, we probably don't need to do anything on there. Software will be working towards the end of the semester. We'll be working with the quick install and some other software in there. Advanced, probably won't be doing anything here. Don't really need to do any cron jobs. And the preferences. So most of the areas that we'll work with are the top ones. You could always minimize these areas and you could move them around as well. But most of the time, just if you don't want to get lost, if you want to follow the video, I would just leave them where they're at. Okay. And this pretty much covers our cPanel overview. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send me an email.